Hi, I'm Jim and this is Jim's Fix-It Shop, and we have our mystery box here from Paul. And we're going to see what he sent us. Grab me a knife. This is supposed to be the complete drivetrain out of his snapper. Wow. This baby is packed good. Let me tip this down and show you what we got here. We got a wooden box inside of this cardboard box. This guy knows how UPS handles stuff. And he's got this board marked and the box marked, so I can get it back together right when I return it. This is awesome. I've never seen this before. Now it's wrapped up in plastic so it keeps everything clean. This is amazing. I'm gonna tip this down and slide it out. Maybe you can see how this thing is packaged. And I've got a phone call. I guess I'll call them back later. Move down here to shove this box down. It appears to be stuck. There we go. I think, kinda. Wow. Paul, this is totally amazing. This stuff back in here. And it's got plywood in the bottom of the box. Gotta make sure we hang on to that. I don't know if I'm going to be needing the plastic bag when I ship it back, but I'll probably put it in a bag. I think he did this so he didn't get any grease on the inside of the box. Got a piece of wire down here holding this on is this is what it was setting on, is this piece of foam in the bottom of the box. And it pretty much crushed through the foam. Just about, yeah, that did cut a hole in it. I think I might want to put on my gloves. We'll get some new paper when we put this back together. And he's got a little spreader bar in here to hold everything together. That does turn. Ooh. That's tough. So we are going to have to tear this thing apart and see what I end up with. How much of that I'm going to do on video, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll leave that on here until I get these wheel flanges off. I don't know if he's tried to get these off and had trouble. I don't know. I got a box down here on the floor to put all the parts in. If we can knock this bolt out of here. That don't want to turn very good. I had a pair of pliers here somewhere. Well, that came loose. Now, I don't know if you've all seen my rock tumbler. This is a machine I made for cleaning all of the parts. And it works even better than I could have imagined when I built it. You can throw everything in there just as greasy as it is, and they come out remarkable. It's like they're brand new. Got two washers under this nut for some reason. Now, will this come off? Well, it sure wants to. Whoa. Lucked out with a one. Put that down there in that box. Probably Friday night when the shop where I work closes up. I work 2 days a week. repairing machines. I'll run down there and throw these parts in the tank and let them soak for a couple of days. Probably go down there Sunday afternoon and clean them all up and bring them back. Oh, this one's wiggling already. This is great. Both these are going to come off. And both these pins come out. Well, I hope this whole job goes this good. This one has no washers. Cool. Now we can take this spreader bar off he's got on here. I want to get these parts mixed up with the machine parts, so we'll put this back together and put it in the shipping box. Paul, that is the best packing job I've ever seen in my life. That's just totally amazing. Now let's see if we can get this fender off. Oh man, I hope this whole job goes this good, because this is, I've never had these come apart this nice. And it looks like this bushing is pressed in from the outside, totally backwards from the newer machines. We'll put this down here. Now, let's see what shape this is in. Well, this is different. This is completely different than how they do the thrust washers today. This is an older machine. This is just a flat, thin thrust washer that's bent. And it goes up against a regular washer that's rubbing against the end of the hexagon tube. Interesting. Now these boots are not the nice rubber ones. These are plastic again. I don't know if he's going to want to keep these on or get rid of them. I will, as soon as I get this all tore apart, cleaned up, figure out what I need, then I'll get a hold of him and tell him what we got to have. Wow, there is no slop at all in that bushing in this hexagon tube. That is awesome. He said this thing wasn't used much, so it should be in good shape, and he wasn't kidding about that. We'll get the chain case off it. We'll have to strip that down. Another plastic boot. I don't like to play. I like the rubber ones. They're so much nicer. So now it's just got to tear these two cases apart. I guess we might as well start with the chain case. If I can find my tray. That was a smaller one that tipped over. We want this bigger one. Sure oily enough. Some of this I'm probably going to speed up. I don't know, we'll see. Need my air hose. Lost that one. I think that should be a 15/16 socket. That's a bit sloppy. Much better. Now, safety first. I got an old heavy pair of winter gloves I use when I build a fire and when I try to get these nuts off. Well, that's got some weird washers on it. It's got a standard washer. But then it's got, come on over here. But then it's got a real thin, I don't know what kind of washer that is. It's certainly not the standard lock washers we'd have on this machine that were cup shaped. I can see already we're going to need a new brake shoe or arm because the whole shoe is gone. This thing, there's nothing we can do with that. Well, air compressor just kicked in. Let's see. And this chain case only has 7 bolts in it. So I don't know if a standard chain case gasket's going to work on this. And I hope I can buy one that's this old, or I'll have to make my own gasket. Okay, let's see. off is that one. We'll take the brake shoe off. And this one does not have a spring on it. It keeps it from rattling. Most of them do. These are oddball. Wrench don't really want to fit that. Almost like it's metric. We will throw this whole thing in the cleaner because I found out the more stuff I have in there, because this rotates like a paint mixer, it doesn't shake, it rotates. The more stuff I have in there falling as it rotates, the cleaner everything gets. I'm curious to see what it looks like inside this. It don't even look like there's a quart gasket in there. I gotta have some kind of gasket in there to seal that up. It might just be one of the old thin paper gaskets. Well, let's see what this looks like. It's definitely stuck. It's gonna have something in there for a gasket. Looks like metal flake paint. A lot of crap in there. I don't know if you'll be able to see that on camera or not, but look how shiny that stuff is. This is not standard double-aught lube. He uses something different in there. Now this shaft does have a couple shim washers, very thin, on the end of that. We'll clean the chain up. There's no slop in that chain, and that looks fairly new. The sprocket looks really good shape. It's really hard to believe this thing is this old. I hope the axles are in as good a shape as the rest of these parts, because you can't buy these axles anymore. They're gone. So if I have to get a new axle, I'll have to change a lot of the gears inside, because they've changed the number of teeth on the newer axles to the older ones. We're going to flip these upside down and just let them drain. Maybe I'll put them on top of a rag. Couple more. Here's my key. I don't want to lose that. And we'll just let that run out. I'm going to pause this for a minute and get my board so I can stand this thing up and work on it a little easier. Okay, I got a couple of these bolts loose. Now, in both ends of the differential cover, they have nuts and bolts. I don't know if that's because maybe they stripped out the threads that these bolts screw into, or if that's just the way they made it back then. I don't know. It's the first one of these this old that I've worked on. Now, we'll see if we can spin these out of here. Each one of these has a star lock washer on it. That's kind of unusual. Again, 2 washers and the star lock washer that's typically on that bolt. Let's see if we can pop this cover off. I like to go all the way around with a putty knife. I don't just pop one corner loose and stick a screwdriver in there and pry it, because you can bend the covers. Well, the pan. This one does have a gasket, but it does not. This is the old paper gaskets. This is not a cork gasket. I hope I can find gaskets to fit that. Otherwise, I'm going to have to make them. You can buy sheets of this paper just about any automotive store. Boy, and this too looks like metallic paint in here. I think I'll let that drip off a little bit. Kind of leaked everywhere. Now the hexagon tube. Boy, this is completely different. This thing is totally gone. I have more of those. But this hexagon shaft, the gear is loose on the shaft. It has little, it looks like they hit the corners with a hammer and raised the burr so it won't come all the way off. But it just, this is all new territory to me. And again, all these teeth look awesome. There's a little wear on this side. Put that over there and let it drip into my garbage can. these on. Throw it in the can. So, all that's left now is just wipe all this stuff down. I want to get some of it off. And this is an 8-pinion gear on here. And it's pretty wore. I can see where all the metallic material's coming from now. I don't know if I can get this over there or not. But the teeth are pretty much to a razor edge. That will have to be replaced. I'll have to check out these axles once I get them cleaned up good. There's some wear on this one down here. And that's probably from the bushings. So, I guess now we're clean. And I'm going to let you go for this part because I'm just going to wipe everything down with rags and put it in a can and get rid of it. Now here's a washer on the differential fender. There are no O-rings on here to keep this from leaking. Where's that gear at? Where'd I put it? Here it is. Now, there are no O-rings to seal this. Apparently they didn't worry about a little drip now and then. Well, we'll see what it looks like when I reassemble it. If there's room for the washers and O-rings, I'll put them in. Otherwise, I'll just reassemble it the way it came apart. So, I'm going to shut this video off and I'll come back when I get everything cleaned up.